Oh, hi, Achievers. I'm back with 41 Years of Mills and Boone, and this is an interesting read. Now, I'm not even going to pretend I know anything about Georgia Toffolo. I only watched a couple of episodes. I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. I don't really watch reality TV, and due to Georgia Toffolo, I know she's called, no, it's Toff, is a broadcaster and British media personality. Meet Me London is the first book of her quartet. It is her second book and first fictional. She lives in southwest London. West London. Okay, so read the blurb. Right, meet me in London. I'd like to meet anyone in London right now, but hey. Aspiring vintage clothes designer Victoria Scott dreams of one day opening her own boutique, but his aspirations are under threat from a new department store opening at the end of her road. She's a Christmas miracle, but one is not forthcoming. Oliver Russell's Christmas is not looking very festive right now. The opening of his new London department store is behind schedule, and his infinite well-meaning mother is pressing him to settle down. He needs a diversion, something to keep his mother from meddling while he focuses on business. But when Oliver meets Victoria, he offers a proposition. Pretend to be his fiancée at the opening of the store, and he will give Victoria the opportunity to showcase her designs. Only soon his fake relationship starts to feel very real. But when secrets in Victoria's past are exposed, will Oliver walk away, or will they both follow their heart and find whatever neither of them knew what they were looking for? Okay, so it starts off with, Oliver's point of view. Now, one thing I did like is Oliver's narrative is quite strong in this book. Sometimes in a Mills and Boone novel, the lead, the heroine, takes over the male perspective, and this is actually quite a good balance. So credit to the writing. Okay, right. So he's sitting in the pub, kind of licking his wounds, moaning his fate, if you will. His mother's texting him saying, are you going to be a woman? He's an only child, by the way, so his mum wants him to settle down. His father is sick with cancer, so he's got that pressure opening a department store, okay? And he's in like this, this boozer in Chelsea, of course, and sees Victoria, okay? To what she described. She's wearing a dress that looked like come straight out of the 1950s, all slash neck and cinch waist in a fabric of cream and scarlet flowers. Her glossy dark hair was loosely tied in a ponytail that was pulled forward over one shoulder. She had bright red lipstick on forelips, not smudged in the slightest, and most intense dark eyes I'd ever seen. In stark contrast, her skin was pale. She wasn't sure whether it was makeup or natural, and he didn't care. Oliver Russell had known a lot of beautiful women in his life, but she was next level. Quite simply, she was the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen. Right. At this time, Victoria is a spine designer, but she works in the pub, gets some extra cash for a friend who's a bit more of a Londoner. Yes, a bit more rougher than her. So, and they're talking to Kay about how, well, basically Victoria is really, really nice, and while she is doing these jobs, she is also helping underprivileged children, okay, who become fashion designers. Okay, so because she's such a good person, okay, and straight away, okay, Oliver looking at her gets the idea. Gets an idea to keep her mother, so his mother, off her back. Here you go. Right. His last orders, that voice again. Vicky was close enough he could smell her perfume. A beautiful flowery mix that made him want to lean closer and breathe her in. As she spoke, her hands moved, fluffing over glasses. Is there anything you want before I close the till? Well, actually, yes, there is something. She smiled, holding his gaze in a way that made his gut curl in desire. Sure. Will you marry me? Not again. Absolutely not. Victoria tried to hide a smile as Mr. Tall, dark and dangerous. Hopeful grin withered under her Death Star. Too often, because she was petite and kind of pretty, she'd been underestimated being a pushover. But she had a backbone made her still. She had to just to survive. It served the word dealing with politely yet firm alcohol-soaked guys. But this one was different, definitely a level higher than the usual punters. Right. So, it works that happens a lot. Drunk in a pub, will you marry me? No. Victoria's got a bit of a spine. I like that about her character. She has a spine. She goes, no. Okay? But, let's also learn more, okay, about Victoria. Her boyfriend dumped her. He was cheating on her. And she's a bit down about that because things, okay, that's totally out of her control. And it's talking about the other people going to meet in the quartet. Okay, right. Zoe, Lily, and Mally. Okay. Hold on. Toria, hold on. Tori, Zoe, Lily, and Mally, her oldest and dearest friends, here to share this. Her heart squeezed a little as she thought of them spread out across the world chasing their individual dreams. They never had a chance to be geographical, closely did, but when they did get together, they always had such fun, shopping together, laughing together, getting ready for nights out. That night. Her throat tightened. That night started like any other. 4 girls getting ready. The conversation was about makeup and dresses. By the highest heels, who could walk in them? It was about laughter, anticipation, and about living, or the excitement of a summer ball. After the summer ball, something terrible happened, which actually has impacted all their lives. Okay, which I'm going to explore at the end. Okay? But the thing is, obviously Victoria, because she's so nice, and for some reason she can afford to rent a flat in Chelsea, and I could not figure this out at all, how she can figure out renting this flat in Chelsea. Right, she's talking to Kate about her, a little bit about Peter, her ex, and this bit here, is when she says, okay, about the underprivileged children, okay, that she teaches fashion, okay? Right. I do feel like kind of adopted mum to the kids I teach, though. My life is a board and it's for have fun. It's fine. The more she said it, the more she believed it. But having a relationship ended in such a spectacularly gross way of finding out her boyfriend in flagrante was someone he only just met, or to his cutting table in a studio, have really bitten her ego a little. I felt like she planned it somehow to prove that she wasn't enough. So he planned it somehow to prove that she wasn't enough, inadequate, defective. Right. This is page 29, by the way. Afterwards, he said Victoria hadn't been the one in a relationship who hadn't been truthful, and that she led him on and made him believe they had a future together, and then she snatched it away when she confided her truths. Okay, that actually isn't earring, okay? Basically, Peter is a horrible person. He cheated on Victoria. But the fact is that in their relationship, she didn't make this clear to him. So even though I think Peter's an arsehole, and he is an arsehole, when he comes across in this book, he's an arsehole. He wants to basically sabotage Victoria's life because he can. So she couldn't have kids. Not everyone could. She wasn't the only person in the world who couldn't, although he'd made her feel like some kind of defunct freak. Right. So, but the thing is, this is page 29, and the fact that the theme running through this book, the fact that Victoria cannot have children, is bashed over the reader's head, over and over again. Now, I feel sympathy, obviously, but at the same time, we don't need to keep going on about it. We get it. Readers not goldfish, okay? We know, we get it. Right. So, and also, even though Pete is a dick, I do think that she actually should have said that earlier in the relationship, because hey, right. But the thing is, okay, this book is very kind of shop around the corner, or you've got mail. You know, the whole kind of big businesses coming in and destroying our beautiful Chelsea. I mean, the Chelsea in a while, by the way. A beautiful Chelsea, the history of Chelsea. Okay, and this bit here just could have been out of from You've Got Mail. Right. This business to him, this fancy building, is just another jewel in the mighty Russell crown. I heard they're worth billions, but to these people, she pointed the clothes shop around across the road and the jewelers next door. It's their livelihoods. The money they make from selling their stuff puts food on their tables and pays for their kids' clothes. Doesn't seem to understand it. It's just profit and loss to him. There's a good local business network here, a great community spirit, and he's stomping all over it. Sounds like a piece of work. Sounds like Andrew. Right. And the person she is saying this to is Oliver. He was just basically there trying to sort out his cousin's mistakes. Right. Yeah. So, but in the end, she goes to Oliver Russell's office to confront him, okay, about what he's doing to the store, not doing to the store, doing to the livelihood of Chelsea, because Chelsea needs our help. You've been down to Chelsea? The phrase Chelsea Tractors was invented for Chelsea, okay? They have gardens there that only residents can go in Chelsea, okay? Right. Let's be here, okay, because Victoria is power to the people. So she storms in and she's like, what are you going to do for the community? I'll get this, okay, right. Right. You can hide behind your cousin, who's a dick, by the way. But Russell and Co doesn't care about what it does to little people as long as your bottom line is healthy. Right, you have got it all wrong. We have a strong commitment to the community. And Ibel, prove it. But how? We donate generously to charities. Lovely, but you don't get your hands dirty. Prove that you care about this community, Oliver Russell. The people on the street, your neighbours, prove that you care about making a difference here. Right. If you didn't have enough on his plate before opening day and then Christmas day, Boxing Day sales and New Year's, Easter, an image of flat and grubby bunnies floated through his head, exactly how he felt, flattened and grubby. He would ask from the get-go. How? Okay. How about this? Look, why don't this is his idea, okay? Because Oliver feels so bad, okay, that is what he hurt Victoria, okay. Right. He wanted to assure this community she was so fond of the suburbs because his family put a store on their street. Damn it. It made him want to care about, even for all his training, it had been about what was best for the business. Look, why don't we do something on opening day to showcase the community? What kind of thing? He thought fast. What's popular at the moment? What did they need? Pop-up stores for the local motors, a space for everyone to advertise their shops, guests, food stands, designers, the jewellers and the bead shop, the florist, anyone who's interested. That might work. If we start at least. And then in the end, okay, due to the fact, okay, that obviously she's in fashion, they put on a fashion show the night of the launch. Okay. Right. And she agrees to be his girlfriend. She agrees to be his girlfriend. Okay. Well, fiance. Right, let's be here. Right. I need a favour. I need someone to be my girlfriend at the opening day. Right. You're serious. Let me get this right. You need a girlfriend for an event 2 weeks away. It's a very odd thing. Is it just for the one day? He seems certain about that. Okay, so she agrees to be his girlfriend. Okay? I mean, if you want to take a woman out on a date, sure, the normal thing is just to invite them out, see how it goes. And ask them about things in the future. What if they don't like each other? What if they don't get on? I can't commit to something weeks away other than you proposing to me. We don't know each other at all. Right. He doesn't want to date her. He just wants her to pretend to be his fiance for his parents, because his dad's dying. And the fact is that you would think that this kind of conflict, obviously a sick father, you would think, and your mother that you think would be overbearing, you'd think it'd be some kind of disaster, domino. It's not though. That's one thing I didn't like is this build up to meeting Oliver's mother, and it's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. That's one thing. It just kind of rushes through it. Everything's absolutely fine. Right. And this is the most ridiculous info dump ever. Okay, fine. She got this from Google. Alright, this bit here. Right. Right. I remember you went to Harrow, to Oxford, graduated with a first in economics. Very impressive, by the way. Played rugby for your college, got selected for the England under-19s. Gone player of the year 3 years in a row. Even more impressive. She didn't mention Tatler's profile of him as UK was eligible bachelor. And the fact his father made the Sunday Times richest, but only at 27. 20-freaking-7. And yet here he was with him in our favourite local Indian restaurant, slurping a beer and eating the best chicken tikka masala in London. A tikka masala, really? Really? Okay, fine. I was on your side, okay, the fact that you hate tikka masala. So who the hell eats a tikka masala? Kids. Alright. But once again, this whole thing, okay, of her accident, okay, so it's been accidents. My leg's playing up at the moment. I had an accident myself a couple of years ago and I got metal on my leg, so sometimes it plays up. It's the thing about the accident keeps coming up. I know when okay I should be interested, but the fact is that Victoria keeps hopping on about this accident. I start to get bored. Okay, right. Find your survivor made her rethink what she wanted out of life, but be responsible for horrific injuries to her friends, made her reevaluate her attitudes, her actions, and everything. Oh, well, guilt prevented her from moving forward, but her friends have rallied around and told her she hadn't been to blame for the accident, and to live the life the dead driver from the other car wasn't able to. But Oliver didn't need to know that. Okay, Oliver didn't need to know that. Right, so they bond more. There's loads of talk about this book, about fashion and details and sequins and colour. Okay, and at one point, Oliver actually gives a bolt of material as well, which is actually the reason why she was in the office to start with. But yeah, there's a lot of that going on. Okay, so this bit is when you find out about the accident, because it's gonna keep coming up, I reckon, in the other books too. Right, here we go. The accident happened, and at Ollie, I was driving the car. It was my fault, apparently. The coroner blamed Claudia, the other driver, who was a friend of ours too. She died at the scene. Victoria briefly closed her eyes and breathed in a ragged breath. It was a terrible time for the whole village. Families broke up over it. Claudia's boyfriend, who had no idea she'd been drinking that night, was so distraught he left town soon after and hadn't been back. Right. The four of us grew quite quickly after that, grew tight together. The accident severed our bond. We survived, but we knew how lucky we were to come out of it. Well, Claudia didn't. Every day after the accident, on the way, one last she had, it was truly heartbreaking. And so what happened was there was a car accident, and Claudia, another driver, caused it because she was drinking. But Victoria has survivor's guilt, and she's been blaming herself ever since. Okay? And the accident left her with, she can't have children at all. That's a thing. Left her infertile. And that keeps going on and on and on. I'm dreading reading the other books in the quartet, just think this is going to come up again constantly. But to spend more time together, they bond. The fashion show is going well. Interestingly enough, is the way that the author describes working class accents, I found a little bit jarring. Okay, so but then it comes to the climax. Okay, this bit here, right, is when Andrew, Oliver's cousin, who's been basically the bane running through this book. Okay, right. Because this is a fake engagement, and Oliver's father is still dying. Right. I want you to leave Russells alone. Stop this game you're playing. Step out of their lives. I'll tell them the truth. A heart kicked against her ribs. The truth about what? You're stringing them along with your promise of a future, and we both know it, that they never have grandchildren from you. He didn't close and she smelled alcohol in his breath. The Russell line will stop with Oliver, and you know he wants more than that. He wants kids, Vicky. His plans are set on grandchildren to dote on. You need to be honest about that so they can, how can I put it, evaluate their choices, maybe reconsider that ring. They eventually had a hand and knew that it must be worth a lot more than she'd thought. She wanted to break this up so she could give the damn ring to his future wife and provide beautiful Russell offspring, or to slide him into the favourite stakes. Right. Then it hit her like a physical blow in her scarred belly. Peter told you. Just filled me in. You know, funny chat. So, Andrew, Oliver's cousin, threatens to say, I will tell them that you can't have children because they're keeping it from everyone. Okay? Essentially make it, basically shaming her because for infertility. This infertility shaming really kind of runs through the novel quite a lot. Okay? You know, either it's over Victoria's head or someone else. The fact is, okay, that she's now in her 20s and she can't have children. Okay? So, in her eyes, she's a freak, and in other people's eyes, she's a freak. And the fact is that Andrew has come along, and, you know, they barely know each other, called her a freak to her face. Because everyone wants grandchildren. Even though Oliver is a billionaire, okay, for a billionaire family, and if he's committed to this woman, okay, who he's taken her to these nice places and taken her out in a helicopter and basically showed her a life that she never imagined, and they've already flown a private jet. There are easy options for him with an unlimited bank account to make the dream of parenthood happen, okay, in this brave new world of science. Right. So, but in the end, Oliver has it out with Andrew, okay, and it's Andrew. It says to Oliver that she's infertile. It's bit here, okay? It's bit here. Right. Right. You were ever rid of her. I was on to her. She was taking you for a ride. Oh, until I got wise to her and told her. What do you mean? What the hell did you say to her? Andrew shrugged, eyes wide. Look, I just told her I knew her little secret. What secret? Oliver's heart rate escalated. He sat back in his chair. What did he miss? That she's barren, infertile, can't have kids, can't progress the Russell line. We string you along and you fell for it. Right. How did you know this, Andrew? Her ex said she'd been tight-lipped about it when they're in that lovey-dovey stage. Then they were starting to talk future. She dropped the bombshell. Can't have them. Turns out he didn't want them. So, right. So that Peter douchebag dumped her because the accident that wasn't her fault. Right. And poor Victoria, the sharpness tightened, and split with gut and started to rise out, and she thought I'd do the same. She said she's going to end it anyway. Oh God, and she had to deal with Andrew. Okay, and basically, Oliver calls Andrew a coward, and kind of breaks down and admits that he is out of his depth, he's a loser, he's lousy, and he's an arsehole. And in the end, of course, Victoria and Oliver get back together because he doesn't care. Okay, and obviously with his unlimited money, that's one thing. Okay, this book felt interesting. Okay, because obviously I don't know much about Georgia Toffolo writing style. One thing I did notice is that it felt very similar to the writing style of Louisa George. So I would love to know who did what on this book, because obviously Georgia Toffolo with Louisa George, and her writing style and her narrative structure felt very similar to Louisa's. So I'd love to know who did what on this book. Okay, who can I put it together? But one thing is this constant reminding us of Victoria's infertility got very, very annoying after a while. I just couldn't deal. We know how it's going to end this in Rules and Bruno, but they still got back together. They're going to live happily ever after. Okay, and I reckon it says 4 books in this quartet. Okay, is by maybe third one, fourth one, they have some children. Okay, so, but interesting read. Meet Me in London by Georgia Toffolo. And take care, everyone. Sign off. Bye now.